Let the title speak for the video, because it's there right now in the sky. It doesn't behave like we've all been brainwashed into believing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like anti, European Space Agency or anti-American space. I'm not anti-sky. I'm not anti-planet. I love studying the universe in all of its diversity, and it's just huge. Purified drinking water. This is going to become, it already is. It's on the stock market now. Water. It's amazing that the powers that be understood a long time ago to get rid of copper pipes in public pools and so forth, because copper electrifies water and creates certain circuits and alkalides and stuff that I'm not even a scientist that we're all learning about. And it's just amazing to see how parched we've been, how starved we've been of so much cool stuff, like just, things that are holistic and natural that I guess our ancestors were aware of, that are kept from us, or we are charged highly for today. And right when we're all getting used to that, and you can order some gold ormus or something online, or some fish oil, humanity will blink, because Nemesis is right there. No wonder my little channel is just squashed like a bug, which is fine. I get to go to work tomorrow. I got so many beautiful things, so many abundant things with friends and humanity, and phone calls I could make, and places I could go to. Right now I could call 1,000 people, and if I needed something. And the cool thing is that they could call me. Some have, actually. I've stayed true to my guns and the format of this channel for years, because I don't have to stay true to anything. The sky speaks for me. And I have the film, and when I get out and look up, I don't. Yesterday, when I got home from work and doing a bunch of other stuff, I went and visited my friend and her daughter, and we went shopping at Trader Joe's and just got out in the community. I'm learning how to do that kind of stuff more. Enjoy people while I have the chance, because Nemesis is there, NIBIRU and all that sideshow stuff. It's there right now, and it doesn't move like a planet. Hi, Lily. Hi, Julie. Hi, Yoma. Best life lesson: listen to your mama. Because I could come up with 1,000,000 of them, but and some people, you might not have that figure in your life. Well, find that, yeah, everybody's got a mama. It might not be your biological mama, but listen to your mama. It might be your little sister. It might be the neighborhood baker who just tells you, "Now, boy, you will listen to follow your gut." Follow your gut. There. That's the best life lesson, because we're all past, after what I saw in the sky tonight, after a couple of months, just being like, I don't want to film anymore. Nobody cares. Knowing that, that's just, and child, as my daughter called my brain, systematically it goes to waves and emotions and up and downs. It's incredible. So we give up in all kinds of different stuff. Maybe a job search, maybe starting your own channel. Why even bother, right? And it goes way beyond channel. Maybe adopting a pet, or reaching out to someone who is alone a lot, or buying a bag of food for a neighbor who is kind of struggling right now. But following your heart, following your gut, that's the best life advice in the world. Because that's what I've been doing for 10 years. Come rain, sleet, snow, I get out and I find elevated areas of the topography and geography of whatever part of the country I'm in, but especially Cincinnati, and I don't know why, but I find some elevation and I film sunrise and sunset. Been doing it for years. It's my passion, and I'm good at it. And usually when I do it, there's something to see, which has turned me into kind of a connoisseur, which can be bad because it's like, well, I don't need to tonight. It's not as, because I've always had a feeling, dude, you're, is it 7 minutes? My favorite song on all of the world now is you're a dumb. You're a dumb. I don't trust what I think. I don't let myself. I can't afford to, because I'm a sky watcher. And the clock and the bills and hurry up and traffic and I don't want to do it. I get home. Yesterday I get home and I took a nap. Just had to take a nap. Sky watching, whatever. There's a spot 2 minutes away. I have a deck where the whole west, northwest, is wide open to. There's reason zero why I shouldn't be out filming with my vaunted, self. Captain, what? You come home and take a nap every night after work at sunset. Me? Yeah, you. Last night I watched the most resplendent. It was as good as the Northern Lights, and I was like, nobody will care. I want to go back to bed. This is boring. And then 20 minutes after sunset, per Google, which is supposed to be 9:08, which was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. In years past, folks, sunset was in the summer. Oh, we're about to go to church tonight because I have lunch made for tomorrow, and I don't care. I live in a house full of ex-cons and felons. And today I was like, I want to cut the grass. Nobody else is going to do it. I was getting the self-martyr bullshit starting to pop off. Oh, yes. I mean, like pitiful why I haven't eaten all day because I don't, every time I walk in the kitchen, something. And y'all hear me talk about that. Stressful sons of bitches, and I feel their stress and and I was like, I got to cut the grass and it's getting hot. And there's no gas, and I'm trembling with hunger. I still haven't eaten. Well, a minute, because I'm a lion. I'm a warrior, and a lot of you are too. Look, there's one person here. That is a trip. I'm capturing Nemesis on a regular basis. What it is, it's a big red fucking ball, way bigger than the sun. I don't know if it's dimensional, but the Navy commercial from 2015 showed it. There might be more than one. Who knows? But it's a big red ass object that is. I can talk about years past. I don't need to because the footage speaks for itself. I don't know who in YouTube and Google and all them don't like me so much, but they don't not like me. The algorithm, I don't know. I can't find my last 2 live videos, but they're still online. I got a comment from somebody which part of the book Revelation it was. All the stupid little faux pas that people put on me, and as an empath and sometimes an ass kiss. Oh yeah, you're right. I need to change my language and my demeanor and don't be too this and too that. Are you kidding? That's working. It really is. Because now there's the, invasive thoughts, but they're even worse than that. The feeling of, and down to earth, and nobody need to watch your language more than you need to watch the fucking sky. What's out there? So I did tonight. It's a 2-minute drive. And I felt myself getting sick, tired, my stomach hurt. I wondered if I was about to get a flat tire. I got nervous. It's the strangest thing that's starting to happen to me. And I would imagine it's not just me. And I would imagine it's not just in reference to noticing the difference in the sky. That's more than a pleasure. and it's very unpleasurable. And I don't know why. It fucking hurts to get out and even pick up the phone. My arm starts to melt. I feel like I have atrophy of the courage muscle. I feel like my, you know, I get super bored. It's the strangest feeling. I feel very flatline. I feel very sleepy. I slept all day today, and it's not just from the hard work I'm doing, which is incredible, or being on the mend from lower back problems. Notice I'm not sitting here like stiff-necked fools. You think you are cool to deny me for simplicity. The rich man's wealth is in his city. The righteous wealth is in his holy place. We take the sun and the moon and the rain and the stars, and together said place them in fib. Bob Marley's songs. The stiff-necked fools running this world. Well, now that some of us are going to be able to know what's in the, because I can't even say that it's in the western sky, because it doesn't move like anything on the elliptic plane, folks. It's sitting there, the fucking video. It's a sunset, massive red ball burning through, trying to reveal itself. It's why we're all good. I'm going to say, it isn't magic in my life. My car broke down 2 days before Christmas here in Cincinnati, so I've been driving all over the place. I just got to go see my mom again a few days ago. I'm in touch with family in ways that I didn't realize were so cool. There's the underground rail system in Cincinnati that I want to break into and explore. MUFON moved here a couple of years ago. Why would MUFON move to Cincinnati, Ohio? Hi, Golden Crystal. Goodness, heart is loving kindness and compassion and positive truth and peace. Confident and strong, your heart together, believe and respect. Goodness, heart, do your best. Goodness, heart. I have to read comments like that now, because first off, most of your comments are hidden. I would say 98% of anything that has to do with the magic that you all can help instill in me and so forth. And I realize why. This man, we need to find a way, aside from what, they tried before. I was born like that way. I don't have to sit here and spend 15 minutes on sort of a self-indulgent, narcissistic way of, we know what's happening and how it can happen if you discover something that, is a pen that runs off of orange. Because I've been on top of the sky like on rice for years. You can't take me. It can buck me. Not life, not where I lived. If it's a fucking sky that looks interesting, I'm on it like stink on shit. And it's paid off. Last Wednesday, I get out of the meeting, boom, I'm on the sky because I'm not so nervous. I don't feel so out of place filming the sky anymore. Believe me, sky watchers, like normal people, and everything that's going on, it's not so taboo. You don't look like such a dumbass. You're a dumbass. Why'd you rush outside? Start filming the fucking sky? Because I'm a dumbass. I don't know. I agree with people now. Just leave me alone. People suck in general. They were running hard this evening down here at the beach in North Kakalaka. Live fireworks show. Fucking 2 people in the chat. I love it. It's just hilarious. More will join now. It's just nobody people think I'm non-existent. People comment now. Wow, Seth, it's been 3 years since you've posted a video. I don't care. I'm just flipping through my 15 pages of notes. I started jotting down companies that are laying people off. Fucking wrists started to hurt after the 20th company. No, I'll stop cussing so much. I'm also a bank. Go figure. It pulsates in the sky. I can feel it. Kroger, 1,000 people. Intel, 24,000 people. Bosch, 1,100 people. Microsoft, 9,000. Intel, 10,000. P&G, 7,000. This is happening right now as we speak. I don't feel so bad. Little stupid YouTube, social media. Oracle. Oracle's busy chopping people, chopping people right now as we speak. I mean, I'm not laughing. I'm sorry. It's really sad. Hold on, because I'm having a good night. I'm on a roll. My boss hasn't yelled at me in 2 weeks. Yeah. And the Matrix. This did not used to do that. I used to have perfect internet here on my phone. But I'm not surprised. Just breathe. I mean, I would imagine it's there right now still. It's just cloaked in this strange reality that they tell us that we have. I don't know. I mean, I refrain from too much talk of the simulation, though I do feel very much like a program sometimes. But just envision the picture, the saving picture for the video. It's incredible. That was last Wednesday. And I didn't want to film. I can't believe I finally pulled over. And I can't believe that I keep talking about my commitment. My resolve has never been stronger. Good. It would be unfortunate if I had to. Yes, I will double, nay, triple my efforts. And last night, because right behind me in the due north, the whole sky lit up. And I was just like, whatever, I looked and see what time it was. It was 9:08, so it was their fake sunset. And again, sunset used to be at 9:30, folks, during the summer, 9:45. During the winter, when they changed time, sunset used to be around 5:30. In 2024, it was around 5 o'clock. But tonight, as I'm, just not even a mile away, gosh, a quarter mile away, like, this is good. I'm getting my focus back. A super hyper strange kind of focus, folks. It's kind of like that movie where dude took a pill and all of a sudden he could just think quicker and stuff. Yeah, 9:30. Yeah, I know. I know 9:08. So what's really going on? And I've noticed that the sky drips in sheets. There aren't even words in the English language to say truly what the big production of the sky really is. It drips in nano formula sheets. Wait till I get in my notes. You guys are going to love my notes. And I slept all day. I've got this focused, intense, awareness of wanting to please too much or wanting to help to fit in, hurry up, schedule. And it's like, no, today I'm going to rest. Because it's about to get scary hot. So they say. And it's coming because the humidity here is incredible. And it's not even hot yet. Because there's this big red thing. And I can't help. I mean, I'm looking right where it was. And I can't help but think that it's still there. And the sunset now, there are those scalar waves. That's what you're talking about, Lily. You're so smart. It was fun talking to you last night, too. You chilled me out. I was able to chill out. I called you and I called Countless Thoughts and I just chilled out. Because I'm coming face to face with a lot of, what are they called? CPT. People who ain't really people. And the best thing I can do is not all of a sudden turn into a not people. Sit there and stab the universe in its back. NPCs, NPCs. I used to think that was kind of a little judgmental, a little hardcore, but it's real. I'm looking at one right fucking now. Likes to leave dishes in the sink, just piled up in the water. Knows that I don't like it, really. It's no big deal. Everybody knows. I just shut up now. I'll cut the grass. I'll go buy toilet paper and paper towels because I've got a car. You know, I'm so working the steps. It's so awesome. If I'm not the problem, there's no fucking solution. So there's no problem yelling at somebody else. I can fix me. I get home from work yesterday and helping out and going over to Barbie's and I'm in here just thinking about making myself something to eat. This old guy waddles in there to get something. Sees all the dishes he left. I'll get them later. Don't freak out. I said, hold on, come here. Why you need to throw some shit in my face? I got loud. My black came out because I'm just done putting up with people, especially after what I saw. I said, you don't need to give me a hard time because you don't feel good and you're upset, which I can tell. And take that shit out on me. He stopped. He apologized. No. And after what I saw tonight, and today I was grumpy. You know, I wake up today, 7:30 in the morning. Because I'm the worker up in this little fucking cuckoo nest. And it is. But it's nice. And I got my own fucking room. You know, and they respect me. Not because they fear me. Nobody at work fears me. I'm just eccentric as fuck. And people don't know quite how to take me. But this morning, you know, the dude with one leg, who's kind of a crybaby spoiled brat, you know, he, I guess, really needed to attack a jar of jelly. And my room is right below the kitchen. So I hear pounding upstairs. And I come up at 7:30 in the morning like, who's hammering? He's like, no, me, I'm getting the jelly. I said, so the one day a week, I don't have to get up at 6 o'clock and help take care of this, my life, toilet paper. You need that peanut butter and jelly sandwich that bad, huh? And I noticed that the NPC attitude in people these days is reaching demonic proportions. And the real trap to see in it is that we ourselves can get pulled. So I myself can get pulled so quickly into it. The next thing I know, I'm doing it. Yeah. And that ego pops off now, because we all see that white meditation cat that's on YouTube now. And those of us that are smart are listening to him. He's good. Woo, he talks about Thich Nhat Hanh, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, just look him up next time you go to, you know, YouTube. Just white dude, Buddhist meditation badass. But to not get drawn into the conflict these days, and people can't help it. 10 years ago when I started doing this channel, part of it, a huge impetus, a huge motivator, is because I would get on that hill. Something about these 7 hills here in Cincinnati and its proximity to Serpent Mound and the white giants that lived here and so many other incredible things. But I would always pay attention to the sky. And I would film probably the same thing. It just was a lot smaller 10 years ago. Fuck you, YouTube. I can't wait to post it on TikTok. It was so much smaller. And if they weren't nuking it with this ultra weird, neat sheets, sheet after sheet after sheet of whatever they're applying to the sky, and then somehow projecting through it. It's not just one wall of the projected kind of gray and black stuff, folks. Every inch of the sky is layer upon layer, programmed in terms of distance from the viewer. You know, obviously all people can be viewing, all devices can be filming, so it's layered to go from any point all the way through the distance and obfuscate literally the actual image that we're seeing itself. And what is this big red thing? And I videotaped the shit out of it tonight. I can't wait to. I tried to post the video, but it's going to take 2 hours. You'll see it. You'll start seeing it. This big fucking red ball that looks just like out of, well, the dreams I used to have when I was 10. For a week. For 1 week, I had the most horrifying waking nightmares. It took all night. I couldn't move. There were a few different processes to it. Now, with what's happening in the world, vis-a-vis when I get into my notes, what I'm doing now is just letting the connection strengthen. Or else it'll keep buffering me all night, and then it'll stop. Which seems to be the story of my fucking YouTube experience, life. It really has been. It sucks. And I just keep on badassing my way through it. I don't know. It hasn't exactly been good for my posture. That's my sex life, my fucking pocketbook. I definitely got targeted by a landlord who almost poisoned me. Because he knew about my channel, him and his maintenance people, and you know, people find out about shit like this, and all of a sudden the NPCs hate, and I don't even know what hate is. Been jealous twice. Bob Marley and Lenny Kravitz, that's it. Oh, I want to post the videos. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm gonna stop worrying so much about it. Again, you know, I don't like to talk shit about people, but super Christians and trolls, maybe they don't even know it. Maybe some of them are real, but to try to shape me into something that I'm not, you know, and me letting it affect me to the point where my image is more important than doing what it is that I'm really good at. One of the fucking best. Getting that sky. Location, location, location. Because I don't want to, you know, sound like the sky comes to me. But sometimes it does. It comes to you. So forth and so on. Let me get down to my notes. I mean, that big ass red thing, it doesn't go up or down. It doesn't recede. 10 years ago, I noticed it. And it would come up on, it would glow like red wine. It would glow the color of plasma, like out of movies and stuff. Like there was, like blood. There's no other way to describe it. And there would be a few of them in a little bunch, just burning through. Again, at around sunset. You know, I mean, over the decade I've been doing this, it's pretty obvious that whatever, if it's dimensional or if it's local or if it's spiritual or magnetic or plasmatic, but there's, you know, a shifting happening around our little globe, even though, you know, who knows? There's a lot of airplane pilots who say that it's flat. Who knows? Did I post it on the shorts? That's interesting. Yeah. Well, the one to watch is last Wednesday when I could not help. But it's a spell. It's got to be a grimoire that I'm under. You know, I bet somebody's got a little voodoo something or other, and you know, and technology as it is, and the spirits that are in the tech AI. Go ahead, Sev. I mean, you say you're gonna go ahead and talk. You know, last month, nobody, a fucking ghost town, and I can see why. Because it's magical as fuck. Here's why you'll understand that I could care less about the numbers. Because if you watch that little short from last Wednesday, your jaw will hit the floor, and they'll be like, you can trust me enough to know that I don't have to have a fucking clock sitting there with a compass, so you know that it's in the west northwest. The sun, per se, which is the sunset in the west northwest, we're supposed to believe this time of year, and in the due west, it was that object. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. I pulled over and started filming. Like, what is that? It was 10 minutes exactly after supposed sunset, but it was closer to what sunset would really be this time of year, around 9:20. That's one mistake as the sky watchers. Do not trust Google on what time this shit's. Can't believe I'm miserable here today. Kind of. Something wants me to be miserable. Getting woken up at 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday, by somebody who should know better. Just basic consideration these days. And then again, it stops me from going down a litany of what is wrong with people. I don't give a fuck. It's just nice to not be lashing out and hurting people when I might have a little disagreement or a little, because I still got out and cut the grass and bought everything that the place needs and hung out with, the right people. And look out for them. But I sense myself, yes, I know I'm the composer. I don't know who he is. It's this voice that will not put up with me bullshitting too much because he enjoys you all in the videos. I was ready to be in a bad mood because then I felt guilty for yelling at him. I think I threw an empty pack of cigarettes at him and called him a name, and I was mad. But I've got a vision. I see that sky. I see certain things and I feel certain things. I'm totally tuned into whatever frequencies are happening with us. I recognize it when I'm mad and I hate puppies at 9 o'clock in the morning for no reason. And I feel, my skin, and the heavy metals that are in all of us. When HARP is activated, when they manipulate the sky, which is moisture, it affects us. We're mostly moisture. It doesn't take a rocket surgeon or a brain scientist to figure this shit out. China runs Google. Well, China are all together. And I feel this beautiful sort of pentatonic music in my head because I talk to angels. I see shit that is impossible. Nobody should be able to film what I've filmed twice in the last month. When I put the footage up tonight, it's whatever was there. It's obvious that it's a big red ball of plasma or something. It's obvious that there's a level of technology to mask and hide. I call it light eaters. Some kind of nanotechnology that is so advanced, folks, they could hide your house if they wanted to. But we don't know about that kind of technology, but I fucking do. I've videotaped it twice, and I've videotaped it probably thousands of times and not known it. But it's there. And it's big, and it's fucking red. So I kind of got time. I hope it's all 10:30. 10:46. Okay. For my little fuck off. Whatever you are, please, in Jesus' name. See? I didn't used to do this in this room, in this house, at all. Do 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 do. know? Who knows why it won't play the right way? Oh no. So go ahead and sing and listen, 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 listen to the vibration of the music. Don't lose it, 'cause it's free. I don't know. I don't know what happens. All I know is just to hold on about what I'm talking about. And if I were the black heart guiltiness, the people of this world who carry whatever it is, because I don't think that they're even guilty. I think that the greedy people who are hiding the world from the world, I wouldn't like me at all. Hi, Daniel. So what I'm trying to talk about again is that red object, because and is it a sun? Doesn't act like one. There's this witchcraft element to all of it. A cinema-esque ability of the sky to morph in a way that nobody's supposed to notice, that gobbles up these light-producing objects that are all over the sky. And the deep numbness of humanity in noticing it. That's incredible. But it's okay, because I'm done sugarcoating it. Most people, can't see it for whatever reason, don't want to see it, who it's fucking coming. And at some point, everybody's going to be able to see it. I've been wondering for years. I've seen it occasionally, like a ghost. This red object. I communicated with Jeff P. about it a little bit. He asked a few times about it, and I said that it looked like a red ball with a skirt. Kind of these silky tendrils of cloud or plasma coming off of it, and it's there. It's a big red ringed behemoth. And again, it doesn't seem to be necessarily traveling with the sun, and though oftentimes there's the impression of, let's say, the sun, and then something bigger. But this thing is not traveling with the sun. It's not part of the array, because there is the sun fucking simulator array. I don't care. The shit wobbles and it moves, and it's responsible for the big halos. As much as I'd love to say that that's a natural phenomena, it's very unlikely. Is the effects of fakery and downright fuckery. When you see the footage, when you see last Wednesday, you'll wonder. And it was a short video, and it wasn't necessarily in context in terms of a landmark. It was just some trees and this big red fuck of a thing burning through. I mean, red, way disconnected from any kind of the sun. 10 minutes way after, but right around the time that sunset should be, which takes us back to our original badass clocks, thermometers, fucking metronomes. You're a one, and most people are. It's just that people are so fucking, man. I was in a house full of people today, and I was to the point where I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna sleep all day and rest. I don't want to go live. I hate this guy. I don't care. And I started doing some research, or the research started doing me. Last time I went live, I was talking about stellar remnants and Claudia Hours, Dr. Claudia Hours. All of us. I don't care if tie your shoestrings long or not. There may be a screen covering the Earth to block the increased solar radiation. I saw something like on a satellite video. Wow, JV 3000, thank you. Michelle Roos, that's my Crikey and Dragon videos, been over Beirut and Jerusalem too. Yeah, there's some strange shit going on, like swarms, jellyfish swarms. I don't know what the hell that is. And by the way, what's non-fucking binary? And who cares about Supergirl? What you want? It's the composer, and he just told me that the reason why the algorithm is feeding me thing about it because I like the Supergirl series. Well, it was all. But what's non-binary? Am I connected to Wi-Fi? You have a bad signal. I know it's bad. It's is it bad for everybody? God, I just can't win for losing. I can't. I'm a fucking Spaulding. Give me a minute. Let me go consider if I should just delete and stop the fucking video. Seriously, that's how I feel these days. And it's being broadcast. My ears just began ringing out, and I might just quit the whole fucking video. So, hold on. Something just told me. Literally. I literally heard it sucks, but are you going to keep going? I need you. So I'm sorry if the connection is bad. I'm not surprised in the least. I mean, everything kind of sucks. No, I'm just gonna go. Oh, oh. Stella Remnants and Claudia Albers. What, maybe if you just move the phone 7. I just, it's just wrong. Maybe try something. Yeah, days, and we're all getting far too used to it. Might be attracted to our sun because our sun is still alive, and they aren't. But they're not exactly black holes. They didn't blow up. They didn't go supernova. They're actual physical objects. They're dark stars. You know, and they may very well be wandering around en masse in the solar system. We just haven't been told yet. Who knows? There's a lot of different speculation. Point in fact, this big red thing, it's there. It ain't going nowhere. Pay attention to sunset because after sunset, when it's real sunset time, you'll feel it. You'll notice red. That's what the red is. And it might be, and I dare say that I still believe that there may actually be two other sort of normal light source looking suns. Ours, call it whatever you want, that headache, that white silvery flashing headache. It's going to go dark. You know, who's Electrain? Hi, Electrain. No, it's nice. It's gonna, it, it it's nice just to go on through just to try the video to see if it stops. Sometimes it does. Sometimes um, you know, what they call the sun may very well be attracting wandering, hungry dark stars who can never pop back to life, but they certainly, from what some of the science goes, uh, and not just Claudia Albers, by the way, um, but they may pass in proximity to a living sun and drain it to a degree of some plasma, which gives it a little bit of a jump start, kind of like little vampires, little solar vampires, stellar vampires. Who knows? I don't. I'm not certain. And again, that's far away, supposedly 99 something million miles away or something. What Nemesis may be, what that object is. Now that I've got it on film, and I'm sure, and it's everywhere. So many of us have found it. Thank you, Dave Dobbs, the great Dave Dobbs. Thank you if you're a sky watcher out there, by the way. Um, Even saying that, I feel like vomiting. I don't know why. And that's great because I don't want to be too wordy. Is that a combination of some sort of spiritual duress or attack? Is it in the food? Or is it in the air? Or the airways? I'll never forget that on Patmos, John called the enemy the prince of the air. And that was supposedly, and that was a long time ago. Whoever that particular apostle, John the Baptist did live. He was on the Isle of Patmos, and he did reference the enemy as the prince of the air. How prophetic! Because we have the airwaves now, and I feel and hear so much of the bouncing and buzzing. And what could be in control of it? Something benevolent with feathered wings and a cape of emerald? No, folks. We're up against principalities and spirits in the heavenlies and things in the unseen that have carte blanche with our minds. Now there's a new helmet on the market, and it pops up. They call them occipital helmets. They're pretty awesome. You don't have to peel the thing off your head, especially if you've been in an accident, you need to get your helmet off safely. It just kind of peels off, all Iron Man-y, and the occipital lobe and our pineal glands. Some of us are acutely sensitive to exactly what's going on. I can, in a way, sense when it's going to get. I'm kidding, but not. It'll get cloudy and rainy, and I'll feel certain patterns of just, timed intervals, usually between 30 and 60 seconds, of just a magnetic wave going through my body, and not quickly. Out of that one movie, 3000, 3000, right? Or 300, about the Spartans. The dude's like, you will not enjoy this, and this will not be over quickly. Well, that's exactly what's going on right now, because whoever's in charge knows about Nemesis. They know, and now they're going to know that I know, and they've probably known much longer than I've known, that I know that there's this big-ass red ball that looks like it's out of fucking Ragnarok parked in the west. I don't know if it travels with the sun. I've got a sneaking suspicion it's always there, which is why in the morning there's always this massive glow in the west. I think we're being bullshitted about the realms. Hi, TMO. And again, I'm not, I'm not anti, establishment or any particular space agency or what, but I've always wondered why the Mayan and the Nordic mythologies parallel so incredibly. and why it looks like there's a sunrise in the west every day, and why, at night the east never really particularly goes exactly dark, so forth and so on. But a lot of questions got answered for me tonight when I saw that massive red object, because it doesn't seem to, like I said, necessarily move. It seems to bleed through, and it might always be there. And for me, I don't care about the numbers. Why would I, folks, when I'm able to see in the direction that might actually be true west? Like out of Tolkien's books. And Tolkien, by the way, knew more about our hidden history than most people think. I had no idea that he was conscripted by the British government during World War II to try to explain the real story of Great Britain and the people of the northern reaches, and who the Germanic tribes really were. Nobody really knows. Agartha, the times of Conan and shit. The true directions. And what's really out there. I've never been so excited to go live in my whole life, because after all the years of doing this, I really, now I know where to look. I know that it's visible. Becoming visible is going to be more visible every night. Hi, Stack Stevenson. So, we'll just start. Venezuela. First, Trump goes in, takes special forces, fucking Navy SEALs and shit, out of nowhere, kidnaps their president. And we all know that it's about oil. People that are leaving Venezuela in boats get gunned out of the ocean illegally in open international waters. And here we are a couple of months later, and they've got a 7-point something, 2 of them, that flatten the country. I'm surprised I haven't seen 100 other channels, and I'm sure that I will, after saying this, that have come out and said, isn't it a strange coincidence that now what's going to happen is America will take over Venezuela just to save the fucking people. And the suffering there has just begun. And it's so sad. And on that same day, an earthquake in California and one in Japan, the whole planet that day. Another reason why they fucking hate me is because I'm so skeptical of all this shit. I've been, I haven't trusted this world since 9/11. It's funny how I never fucking say that because I'm so afraid of the algorithm not liking me. Fuck. This world doesn't like me since I was born, and it doesn't like mixed people, by the way. Mixed people, we all know we got to be careful in fucking public. We might get our ass whooped. We all know it. My nephew got his ass beat about 3 weeks. He got whooped. Was hanging out with some girl, and some big black dude came over. Some big nigga, some big thug came over and beat my nephew to a pulp and told him it's because you're mixed. This world fucking sucks. I'm able to see that shit. An actual huge red ball. And recognize that it might actually, if it isn't moving, if it doesn't travel on the ecliptic plane and travel, in any semblance with the sun and so forth and whatnot, if it's just sitting there, and at times I'm able to see it through the fakery and through the draping, it just goes forever, folks. You just have to imagine. It's not hard. I'm not even a technological person at all. And I can figure, well, okay, if there's just nanoparticulates everywhere, especially in humid areas, then they can just figure out the technology that any distance is obfuscated with the correct manipulation of, anybody notice that I don't even film them anymore when it's just gray and cloudy and it's not rain. It's just lightweight nanoparticulates that are lighter than the air. They just flow. It's just the most, and it's sticky. Anybody notice now that your windshield, nay, your whole car now after it's one of those chem mist days that everywhere that one of them hit, or the days where it's kind of rain, except when it sticks, it doesn't go down your fucking windshield. And you just got a brand new windshield. And the rain doesn't form drops, it just sticks. Then the shit dries the next day. And what have you got all over your windshield and all over your cars? Little white splotches from that supposed rain that doesn't move. Which means that to a degree, it's silicon or some kind of gunk. Don't even let it snow. After it snows and every snowflake is a 6-pointed star with a little circle in the middle of it, and they hit your car, and then the next day it kind of melts. Your car is covered in little 6-pointed stencils. It's disgusting. But that I just thought it was with what our current administration is doing and what the elites of the world are doing, I just thought, wow, man, Venezuela is ripe for the picking right now. And it makes sense that since the West, particularly the administration, has already shed blood in the ocean, if not on land, and has taken liberty to go against the Geneva Convention and all kinds of international law, then look now. And it'll be over oil. It's just weird. And Tom, I'm telling you that I've been experiencing a depression because of the depletion of, obviously living in a kind of, and there were some pretty thuggish dudes here a few months ago, and I was, I didn't eat, and I was depressed, and I can go upstairs. If I videotape the kitchen, it's just food everywhere that I can't really eat because it's really depressing. And there's just arguing and unnecessary conversations about me. My nephew called me today, and when I was at my lowest, maybe because of this house, maybe because of the heat, maybe because of whatever's going on, which I can quickly notice that if I'm not the problem, then there's never going to be a solution. And my nephew called me. That lifted me up. And then there's this dude that's here. He's Muslim. His name is Rashid. And he said he'd help me cut the grass. And it's a steep, gnarly hill and back. And he did. He got out today when I least expected it. And having somebody else put forth some effort motivated me, like John P. does. Hi, John P. They'll just take our tech. Well, that's what they do to the world. They take people's tech and they turn it into, I mean, I was thinking about it today, not to get too off track, and my notes are good. Jeffrey Hinton, all these people with their technology, particularly AI, how come they didn't make some of its most important parameters healing the environment? But I'll tell you what, they can manipulate that sky. I know it. I'm the best. I'm the best sky watcher on the fucking planet. I don't care. And I'm kidding, folks. But this is my channel. Okay? And this world sucks enough to where if I am able to motivate myself and feel like a badass and a superhero in a little bit of a way, then who can fault me for that? Because I'm ready for this shit. Yesterday I went to my friend's house just to kind of rummage through my shit, my Captain Conversions, preparatory equipment, just to give me a couple of extra little, And I found some magazines that I thought I'd lost. 2 of them are extended, 16 rounders. I was like, I felt like I'd won the lottery, And I'm glad I got back up, because what I saw in the sky tonight, shit. These dudes depressing me? No, because all I got to do is go buy some toilet paper and paper towels, and everybody fucking appreciates me real quick, much less needs a ride to the bus stop or some shit. Nah, I got this. Pack of smokes? Pfft, you kidding? I'm like a god. Nah, ain't nobody gonna fuck with me here. And Rashid got out and helped me cut the grass, and he knows about the coolness of well, he didn't know about Nemesis. Nobody does. I didn't mention that. I could have. I could have said, after I got back from my spot and walked in the house, I looked and it was still there. And it probably is right now. So how could I ever feel like I'm not just fulfilled or on the right path or walking the red thread of destiny or even in possession of the red bowl of destiny? The red bowl of destiny. Where that from? When I lived in the ghetto. I mean, this is the hood, but I lived in the ghetto. And the first night there was this red bowl. And this dude liked his red bowl. He was big, motherfucker, too. He just got out of prison for like 25 years. I wonder why. He was huge. They called him silverbacks. Like big, big, big dudes. And one more, and I finally got my shit together. I got a job. I wake up every day, and my life's back together, and I ain't drinking no more. I'm getting up making breakfast with this one other cool dude. He was homeless, 23 years old, played guitar on the streets, lived in Texas, didn't know if he should move back to Texas because it's warm there and you can sleep outside. Just ghetto. This dude, he came down just because he liked to wake up. I don't have to wake up. I just come check out that thing. Where the red bowl at? I'm over here cooking some eggs and shit, packing my lunch. I don't know. Might be upstairs under somebody's bed. We live in a men's group home. It could be somebody probably took it. You down here all the time. You in there all the time now. You must know where the red bowl at. I'm like, I do not know where the red bowl of destiny is at. But you might find it upstairs. He was so mad. He wanted to kill me, but I don't care. Big gorilla ass motherfuckers. I ain't scared of these. I got black fatigue so fucking bad. Nah, man. And and dude today, he's 6'5" and fucking black, but he's enlightened and Muslim, and he helped me cut the grass. And my nephew called me. He could tell something was wrong with me. Yeah. I said, you still got some food I bought you last week? He said, yeah, I'm good. Let's hang out soon. And reach out to some of you all. No, yeah, I'm shit. Because it is like I've taken some kind of a super pill or something, folks. I literally, or maybe it's because my boss, is helping motivate me. I don't know. But I just see shit slowed down in slow motion. And I've also learned how to not argue with fucking idiots. I spent my whole day yesterday going over to the east side to hang out with my friend Barbie and her daughter. And like I said, we went shopping and had dinner together. And then I went to hang out with somebody who is a fucking idiot, and I knew it, and they were an idiot, and the only person I can blame is myself, and kick myself in my ass. And I got home last night, and I had to call Lily and countless thoughts, and I was like, I want to go live and talk about this shit, and I just realized, dude, only dumbasses engage in the futility of arguing with idiots. This is a Chevy commercial now, because you need to pay attention to commercials. I do. There's hidden messages. Chevy DNA. And now there's heavy DNA. Chevy DNA. Why the fuck a truck gotta have any DNA? I don't know. That's one of them questions that goes up there with what the fuck is non-binary. But I just think it's weird how they plant little things in our minds about the fact that there's so much on the line these days, but that a Chevy is going to have DNA. What? After seeing what I saw tonight, I understand I'm making up a new term now. Damn it. This is my channel, and I get to be smart for a couple of hours when I so choose. And tonight I'm smart because I'm making up a new fucking scientific term called ultra band technology in the sky. Big ass bands that just defy anything that I could ever, because they're semi-invisible, but people like you and me can see the shit. These big bands, that cover the sky. I've photographed them once or twice, but I'm just going to call them ultrabands. Just put that into your mind. That's all I'm saying. Hi, Wave. I sensed you live fighting the Matrix. I need to write that down because that's exactly what I'm doing, and it's taking every ounce of strength, fortitude, and a big dose of not giving a fuck anymore. Wave. What do you call it? Wave rare. Fighting in any capacity. Would you like to hear mosquitoes that bite through wool? I'm just mentioning that right now because I remember when Monsanto was messing with the mosquitoes and when Zika virus, which was supposed to be implanted in the mosquitoes, ended up not really mutating the mosquitoes the way that was foreseen, but actually being transmitted into women in Brazil particularly, and their children were affected by Zika virus. And I remember Februaries on that hill with this strange ongoing, what they call El Nino, which is just a huge cover-up. February's where the mosquitoes are outside. I remember the last 10 years where there's summers where there are no mosquitoes. But I really wonder how much of a masquerade Truman Show we're fucking living in. I really do. I really question the Matrix, because if they can hide what's in that sky, which again might be pointing to some true direction that humanity has lost, then I want to fucking know. Now, you're good, you're probably not real if you're talking about farting, or you're 12 or something, but, if that's fine, I encourage people to improve their skills here. If you're a troll, for instance, not saying you are. Oh, look, somebody already got rid of you. No, I know, kind of tight tinfoil ladder. I like trolls. But mosquitoes that bite through wool, if I go sit outside now, I have on 2 pairs of socks. Don't believe me? Look. Look at my feetsies. I do. I roll my cuffs up and shit. Wear steel toes. They can't get through that, but I just... fertility rates are going down, and this world is about to undergo some really hot shit. Humanity is about to rethink how the fuck we all operate, and having tons of kids, it doesn't, I'm not sure if it's so much in our future, because it seems as if there may be ultra-dimensional beings. That's what Amy Eckhart said, and I like the fucking girl. I don't care if she's a lot of that is a weird sort of cover-up strangeness, but there can't be somebody truly hot in the world like Amy Eckhart, and her last little badass video, she was chugging beers, doing shots, and eating fucking Chinese food. She was a little slob, a little happy, young, prospective, badass in technology, and there was no way that she killed herself. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. She was having too much fun with that beer and being young. I kind of aspire actually to be more like her. I do, because I always wear tank tops and shit because it's hotter than fuck. Not to look good or anything like that, but she was all bam, ripped and shit. Next thing you know, she's fucking 3 sheets to, and these people all coming up with, self-inflicted bullshit, multiple, whatever, man. Spirits get around, say. Yeah, ticks are supposed to fucking mutate. Mutant killer ticks are going to take the world over right now. Shit, it got hotter than hell outside last week. It was 105 with the real feel heat index. I was whacking bushes at the time. I was chopping weeds. I even got into a little poison ivy, but I backed off real quick. It's the only thing I'm allergic to on the planet. Go figure. There's something nibby about that, but I kept on, and I was just like, it's hotter than fuck, kind of. And then I found out it was 105, and I realized, that we all better toughen up. If you're not used to being outside, unless you have some serious health risks, you better get out there and get used to the heat because we're heading for some, and your AC ain't gonna save you forever. Yeah, the workforce. Well, again, I fucking. I mean, it just seven years. Hold on. Oracle. Fucking GM 1300, Oracle 1000, Disney 1000, Sharp 1000, BBC 2000, Volkswagen 2300, Nike 1400, Meta 8000, IBM 2700, uh, 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 American Airbus 2700, Nissan was it Capital One 1139, Amazon 14,000, GM 1700. You know, it just goes on and on. Starbucks 900, Ford 1000, Lloyd Bank 3000, Kroger's 1000, Intel 24,000, Bosch 1100. It just fucking, this is just the beginning. P&G 7,000, Intel 10,000, Microsoft 9,000. But AI has translated the Sumerian tablets. You have got me stuck. You've got me stuck. And I'm so glad that I remember Earth, Wind, and Fire, vinyl records, you know, building tree forts and what it was like to find a snake. There aren't so many snakes out anymore, you know, to getting stung by bees because they used to have a nest in the ground. I remember big ass crickets. There aren't anymore. Little stunted, little fucking radioactive, little sick little sons. Big ass, bright green, beautiful fucking crickets. Big scary sons of bitches. They were shooting Amy with. I remember snakes. I remember garter snakes. He's fucking all over there. It's just, I don't know. Everything's changing so quick. It's just fake. I'm having fun, and the buffering has stopped. And some of you were having fun with me. Bung, dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 bung. Bada-bung, ding. Ding, 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 ding. There's a little sitar playing in my head these days. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I've got this beat just boom, 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 boom. It's always in my head. And could it be some of the effects of this wine-colored spectacle that's being hidden from us? I mean, I'm telling you, it looks like a huge red ball of just living plasma. It moves. It pulsates. You know, at times it's translucent. It fucking talks to me. It has been my whole life. It is. It says Indian beats and shit. Yeah. You know, I was in proximity yesterday to someone who really needed some Indian kind of boom, 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 ding, 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 like Eastern, you know, pentatonic music and meditation, and just the idiot that asked me to come do that just put a screeching halt to it, and I was like ding, 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 and it just made me realize, you know, we got to leave those NPCs alone. It's funny how they reach out. And they're going to start reaching out more. And I hate fucking saying this. Or bunching people in or grouping people in. But NPCs, the majority of them, do you think they're going to fucking learn what you've learned just by hanging out with you and going having a cup of coffee or some tea? And most of them won't have a cup of tea. Most of them, like many of us used to be, are ego, vanity, promises, and pontificating du jour, off the hook. And they know that we're empathic enough to be a good audience, but Jesus, they'll affect your life. And With what I saw in that sky tonight, there ain't no time. You ain't gonna change the NPC. They gotta have their own come to Jesus minute. Something else I didn't know about them is I don't care if they say, oh, come over, and they fucking are jealous, hateful, spiteful. I don't care how much of an act they put on. They want you dead. But something in them is drawn to you. But it isn't to learn. It isn't to give a fuck. It's not to find out if they can pay the tab, much less, fly Dutch. There is no going out, fucking isolating, and you ain't saving one. I'm telling you. Fucking turn around, blink, and end up in jail or some shit. Trying to hang out. Watch, I'm serious. Spell happens, you fucking wake up and shit's your fault. So let me keep on with my notes. Yeah, I don't mean to talk poorly about NPCs, but I've been doing this for 10 years. And you'd think that they might pay attention to, current events or when you hang out with them, mention anything in the world or Venezuela or Gaza, but they don't. Just insulated in their own little bubble, and the TVs don't work. They never want to have movie night. Don't trust somebody who can't have pizza night. What the fuck? Fucking suck you into their loneliness and so you can be their audience for a minute. They don't change, they don't do anything different. You deserve better. I sped through my notes. It took 8 pages to write down how many companies. Okay. The reason why I mentioned fertility rates and Amy Eckhart and first off plasma. Okay, because the world's not talking enough about the plasmatic objects that are always in the sky that aren't clouds. We call them dragons. They look like dragons. They're huge. They're way higher in altitude if they're even inside of the atmosphere of the Earth, which is so weird to say. But those giant sheets of plasma that don't move, huge objects that dwarf anything that you'd call a fucking cloud. They dwarf the sky. Many of them have the rainbow tint around them, but those usually are shaped like a big bug or a ship of some sort, fucking obviously. But I'm talking about those things that go horizon, often are shaped like angels, dragons, huge groups of fucking people hanging out on a beach or something. Oftentimes you'll see kids in them, pets, fucking lawn chairs or like pews. Other times they form animals. Other times they look like truly ancient Sumerian beings in chariots and stuff. I don't know, and that can all just be, the play of eyes. But point in fact, the actual massive structures of them are still there. They're plasmatic, or at least they don't move. They glow a pure white. They have not been sprayed. They're way up above in the atmosphere. If they're even there, and if they're not NPCs, then they're called agents. I gotta write that down. Oh, it sucks, man. And as empaths, I navigate them around them, and then just be done with it. I don't know. Ships, huge ships. Well, she was studying plasma. People like me feel the constant presence of it, and in some way manipulation of it. Hopefully, it doesn't ever get too bad. I mean, tingling plasmatic taint ain't no fun. Shit. Fucking perturbations in the fucking nethers ain't. And of course, the most sensitive parts of the human body may be being zapped, but a lot of people feel that not. um, the one doctor, the black guy, Dr. Blair, who I really like watching, but then he gets into sort of, things that are just even a little out there for me. But he does mention the quartz crystal deposits, especially under mountain ranges, that are being that potentially are being awakened. The vibrations of the earth. We all know the Schumann resonance is off the charts these days, and a lot of us feel that. We're little tuning forks. The ringing, the tinnitus. Isn't it interesting how they weaponize it? And now there's even infomercials at night on TV that say, if you have tinnitus, then that is an early sign of Alzheimer's and dementia, and you're only going to, and in 3 years, you're not going to. My ass. The tinnitus, folks, is potentially, and this does come from Dr. Blair, or the first that I've heard of it, the tinnitus may just be us tuned into the courts of the world, and we're hearing it changing. Something that I've talked about for years, and a big tenet of my channel is that I believe that whatever's going on in the heavenlies, in the dimensions, even in physics itself, is that something out there, the kingdom of heaven, or the kingdom of the fucking Care Bears, because I don't want to get into an argument, for God's sake. You bring up religion, think about it, folks, in the grimoire of the English language, which is full of spells. Religion. Legion. And who is more bloodthirsty and capable of crimes beyond imagination than religious factions set against each other? Capable of the behavior of demons than self-righteous, religious, ethnocentric fucking people. What's happening right now is beyond that. Again, back to what Amy was studying, plasma. And mentioning ultra-dimensional beings from the future. I believe they call them P-48s and P-52s. She knew she was being targeted by the government. I know, and it's a shame, and it's interesting that information was afforded to us, agents and PNCs, and to be careful not to be ones ourselves or to get too sucked into all of it. Speculation. I don't get paid for it, What I am good at is a very indirect remote viewing and astral projection. I do it I've been doing it my whole life. I started in an incubator the first 3 months of my life with a blindfold on. I see the reason why that happened now. Everything in my life, give or take a few drinks, and you know, stupid things, which I notice now, things that were put there, things that were programmed into my life to stop me, to stall me, to destroy me, to uh, uh, um, stop my growth, to keep me from ever reaching the point where I had a Kundalini experience, any number of things. Probably dead. You know, I still speak about it from time to time, but a lot of us have been in situations where something probably programmed you not being a skywatcher or a prayer warrior or beginning a ministry or starting a channel where you enlighten people or giving up alcohol and drugs or turning off the unnecessary in your life and starting to really be open to the fact that there are different frequencies that are trying to reach us and to not run around, you know, um, just stuck in the milieu. And when it comes to these P48s and P52s, these beings from the future, which, by the way, she didn't pioneer that concept. Because what have many of them said? They've said that humanity in the future is misshapen, is genetically starved, is incapable of procreation or reproducing. Humanity drives themselves into that kind of a hole. And they may be reaching out to try to repair that mistake. They also, and she referred to this, see some kind of an imminent disaster. And I rarely say that kind of shit on my channel because I could puke on the fear porn, the clickbait. I even wrote down a channel who, they're just everywhere now. And some of them aren't even human. So why would an AI start a dumbass channel of disinformation? You gonna pop it? He said I just answered my own question. But that there may be a need at some point for humanity to have to come back and save itself. And that maybe a lot of these things that we're seeing, I posted a short that was a watcher the other night, a couple nights ago. People just seeing huge things. You can plant me flowers, duh. We'll talk for hours, duh. Pretty little baby, because those UFO videos on that channel that plays that badass little song are crack-a-lackin', and not all of them are AI. Hi, Coco. I've been hearing about this since I was a child. And isn't it interesting that it's coming up on YouTube these days and on social media, the traumatic shows that were out in the 70s and 80s about just these kind of topics that a lot of kids were, there weren't parental locks and shit on stuff. A lot of us, were sort of latchkey, grew up on, I grew up on cable, I'll admit it. But having, I call them whispers in the dark, things that have been introduced to the mainstream, albeit, on late night little shows on cable or something, but that refer to these kind of topics. And it makes sense. I just did some research on Fukushima, by the way. Again, another reason why, it's funny, nobody talks about that. And I wrote down the channel and talks about him, and I'm really proud of him. What's the guy's name? Dana Durnford. He's the only channel that at least the algorithm lets me see who talks about it. Up-to-date information about Fukushima. Supposedly they're about to start removing rubble. But there's all kinds of evidence that shows that reactor 1 really isn't that badly damaged. It was 3 and 4 that were badly damaged, and one of the explosions was fake. The explanation's fucking fake. I don't care. YouTube being so mean to me has turned me not into wanting to sit here and say the comfortable and shit. You know, it's the truth. And again, there's an earthquake. This shit with these earthquakes, man. My ears are ringing so bad right now, and maybe it's not something I need to be terrified of anymore. Because I'm not, honestly. I, I, I see and feel and go through so much these days. It very much is sort of Neo-esque. It is. And I'm glad that I know Taekwondo. I remember when I saw a Playboy magazine as a kid, and my buddy told me it was his dad's. Well, even that sort of material lying around for young men to find. You think that's an accident? That kind of toxic and demonic exposure that so many young boys and girls find under couches, behind a bookshelf, in back of the truck, that dad fucking forgot. and the destructive, corrosive, acidic seeds that are planted. You think that's on accident? That the Playboys just accidentally all, and some kid finds it? And no, folks. Because the over-sexualization of society is one of the underpinning weapons to keep us all divided, confused, tortured, especially men, and the visual lure of it, and very few people are blessed enough to be able to rise above that and see every single person as a fucking monarch butterfly or as sort of an angelic, colorful, wonderful creation. Not to mention little badass little thermonuclear fucking reactors of heat and life itself. I can't even look at a person without almost breaking out in tears at the magnificent creation that I'm beholden to. I'm serious. People are powerful. We have, the finishing touches. People are in different timelines. I know. We're traversing the timelines. Wave Rare. I need to look your little badass channel up. If you have one. Or just to sub to it. I don't care. 392 rod assemblies, I guess, that they're supposed to be recovering. 100,000 pounds of recovery. And they're going to store all that at the top of the facility. The whales are dying, folks. Stiff-necked fools. Da, 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 bum, 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 bum. Da, 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 dum. Six Tesla cars caught fire at one point on a major highway last week. And I can't help but think to myself that a lot of these fires that are happening all over, especially with that kind of battery system, may literally have to do with, again, plasma. The core of the Earth reacting in a way in accordance with anything from the ionosphere. Look, I'm using a bunch of big ass words, though. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'm remote viewing, so it fucking actually probably makes sense. I'm telling you, there are people in the government who are like, they're watching right now. They're in board meetings. How the fuck does he know all this? God, it makes me sick. Billions a year of cameras, microwaving him right now, and it doesn't affect him. Is it because he drinks so much coffee or mocha? What is it? Sir, we don't really know. We're still kind of studying his family tree. And fucking, his dad was a fucking rock star, and his mom was a fucking witch. And far now! How the fuck does he know all this? He saw Nemesis tonight. He fucking saw Nemesis. How did he do that? Has he posted it yet? No.
No, sir. We've been trying to fucking, we don't even know how he's live right now, sir. It was kind of, but then he prayed, and when he said the name of Jesus, like all of a sudden the mainframe glitched. We don't know, sir. He's glitching us, sir. Fuck.
I thought this guy died in birth when his twin sister and him. We could have blamed it on the twin thing.
No, sir. It seems as if we made things worse because he spent 3 months in an incubator with a blindfold on.
Around doctors.
Yes, sir.
Around PhDs. Around people who've been all over the world to ancient megaliths, and you let him, for 3 months, probe their minds?
Yes, sir.
And tonight? What about last Wednesday? Because that was working. He wasn't filming. He was fine. He went to his meeting, and then he left, and he wouldn't film. What made him film? He got Nemesis twice in 1 week. I mean, they're fucking balls to the walls flipping out. Is it because he eats fucking candy? What is it?
We don't know, sir. We're trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure it out, sir.
On our turn, in jail or something.
We know, sir, but he's actually able to affect the Mandela effect in a strange way.
You think I'm making this shit up, folks? I'm not. And it isn't narcissistic, delusional bullshit. And it wouldn't be any fun. That's why I say it sometimes. Wouldn't it be great if you were white collar and you were making, 6 figures all your life and everything had been great from college and stuff, and you'd been corporate and everything would be great, and you'd have the little $500,000 house in a suburb, perfect, to be married with 2.3 kids and a house and a dog. Things used to, and everything would be great. And you'd be on the layoff list at Amazon too right now, and your life would suck worse than you think it sucks so bad because it don't. Hi, Roman. Veneton. That's a badass name. Yeah, a vehicle can start a forest fire, etc. So that's valid. Well, just, hey. Reset of all the money is what's happening right now. That's the video that really pissed somebody off last week. And all I did was take notes off of Catherine, what's her name? That's all I did, but I made it cool, Iran doesn't control the Straits of Hormuz. Lloyd's does. Lloyd's Insurance, which is located and operates out of the city of London. That's what I made the mistake of actually doing the other night. And I'm not the only channel that talks about the city of London. I don't know what it is about my channel. It sucks. Catherine Austin. The American government spends $6 to $7 trillion a year and brings in $2 to $3 trillion a year. 20% of that goes into the black budget to fucking melt Antarctica and run secret operations. America right now is involved in over 200 active wars in the world, but we don't hear about that. And we're supporting a genocide in fucking Gaza. My tax-paying money goes to that shit. Captain America, Chris, whatever his name is, signed his name on one of the bombs that we drop on these defenseless fucking people, these human shields, you know? And just like in the Strait of America pretends to be so defenseless and is afraid of attacks from what? A defunct, hardly operational military that is represented by 92 million people who've been under embargo for decades, while the American $1 trillion top arsenal of the world, the badass military, can't even fucking open. But neither Iran nor America has a choice. Lloyd's does, the insurance company, who doesn't have time for all the fighting and wants to make money, because what's happening right now, and I quote, is the conditions to consolidate upwards in this world, putting the world into an energy collapse during famine conditions. Nemesis. Nobody has as much time as they fucking think. And I'm glad I got two 16-round extended mags. They're badass. They poke out a little bit. It's funny looking. Doesn't quite, the balance is off, but... And water. I don't, at work, I work with a bunch of river rats because we work off the river. We get steel and heavy shit off the river from New Orleans, and we pick shit up and put it down with heavy equipment. But I know who's mindful at work because they finish their bottles of water. Some of the other idiots, they're just lying around, water, this much water. I come across it and, and I don't stop at work. There's cameras, and my boss, I've never met a man like him in my life. I don't sit down. I just don't want to be that guy. But I wonder if I had time, I'd store all this. Because in a couple of fucking years, we're going to wish that we had these lying around. People at work, I wish I could say to them, and I'm a loudmouth. I'm actually really hardcore. It's a product of being super PTSD, and coming from being raised in the woods like a little fucking dog, because my mom didn't want me inside because my dad beat me up, so I just went out in the woods. My dad had 3 white huskies and a white wolf, all white. He kept them outside year round, fed them every other day, and I would sleep with them sometimes. I'm not socially fucking adept. I'm not, I want to go off. I mean, I see all these bottles of water just sitting around, and I look at the big old polluted Ohio River, one of the most polluted bodies of water on the planet, and I see how hot and dusty it's getting. I work in a big industrial yard, and they have to drive a truck around with water to spray down the roads because we'll all die off of, it's Cincinnati. It's the downtown industrial yard of the home of the Masons. It's full of pig iron and toxic chemicals. I see what's coming, and it just breaks my heart. And to live with that kind of a responsibility, again, that many of you experience as well, that the time almost for you, even though in the world it's slowing up and the Prince of the Air is behind it, but for you and me, it slows down. And we notice so many things that break our hearts that we almost can do nothing about. Under threat of losing, what am I going to do? Go to work tomorrow and wear a big cardboard sign around my neck that says, everybody, if you didn't finish your water, bring it to me. And I'm going to do what? Put it in a tub and save it? Because then I am getting into clickbait and fear porn and stuff. I don't think any of this is going to happen right now, tomorrow, but I do think that over the next... Well, no, I'm still processing the fact that I just saw Nemesis with my... filmed it. Wait till you see the fucking footage. It's very nondescript, mind you. They're doing their best, but they are in their death throes. And some of them are watching. Because don't think they don't fucking watch some of the Skywatchers. And it's part comedy for me, part probably not. Fuck. Did you check the coordinates? Did you actually check that sky cam, anything, fucking porch cams, anything? Did he? Because he didn't post the fucking video yet, you know. And what is it about the algorithm? It should just block him.
Well, sir, he's real careful not to say "fuck you," and he's part Jewish himself. So,
First, you shut up. You shut up. Fish? I don't know, man. So the Strait of Hormuz is being used, folks, to prepare the world for an energy collapse during famine conditions, during heat, distraction. I'm going to change this into the rest of my notes and get ready to wrap this up. It's just going to be an interesting week. Chimps have a bad side, and I don't need to. Ever since I was a little kid, I knew that we were probably a mix between some kind of an otherworldly species and primates. I figured that we were probably some brainwashed, you know, amnesic species that was being influenced by something. I've known it since I was a kid, way before I could read. I've just sensed this. I knew that my dad, for instance, was a demiurge. You know, I myself became a super, just confused, you know, raging NPC for a long time. Oh yeah, I was one of the worst. You did not like me. You know, America's switching off climate warning systems. And it's kind of, you know, a scenario of bury your head in the sand and what you don't see isn't going to take place. And unfortunately, real people like us know that's not how the world operates. The super Christian viewpoint on things right now, I struggle with that. And yet what's happening right now is biblical. And no matter what school of religious thought one might be from, there are certain prophecies coming true. And where's my Bible? And for, you know, again, well, just the part of the book of Revelation that talks about the sky rolling back like a scroll. That's what's happening around Nemesis right now. That's what the deception in the sky is really done, is create sort of a technology and a real texture and motion and a bending of light and an obfuscation, the likes of which really does look sort of like the texture of tissue or muscle, or like when you get a deep cut. Anybody had a deep cut? I got one when I was a kid, just cut my leg. I looked down at it real quick, and before the blood had started to flow into it, at first it was just white, gelatinous fat. Kind of like the sky looks like when we see popcorn clouds. Same kind of thing. It looked like tissue. The sky looks like living tissue. And I myself and many other great sky watchers, we've been all about the rays of light and multiple light sources. And so, but the fact that it's looking organic has really opened my eyes, because it would require that kind of technology to hide that Thor looking. Hold on, I gotta go leave real quick, and then get through my notes and wrap it up. I mean, actually, it's super cool to think about the movie Serenity. And every time I try to think about that movie, I forget it when I'm live. But that's what happens at the beginning of the movie. The heroine, the good girl of the movie, some people are stupid enough to leave her alone in some rooms with some top minds. I think that's where they, something in the Mandela effect, which I think is way more than just cereal box names and the names of a children's book and a Hollywood blockbuster, folks. Respecting all religions, it allows them to be exactly what they're there for. And again, instead of struggling with the viewpoint, I'm just realizing that whether I like it or not, a lot of what's happening right now is biblical. In Paris, right now, zinc roofs in Paris. Apartments are cooking, and it's just heard of heat wave right now. And there's a little channel, some guy, you know, and he says, "Hasn't it always gotten this hot?" You know, I detest the channels to get on and say, "Well, now the world's always been like this, earthquakes and stuff, and volcanoes and everything." It's just that there's more cameras out now and more social media. Whatever. I'm pretty sure that these heat waves are on record as the highest ever on record. And I just can't imagine, because it's going to get worse. We're on the road to unlivable regions of the planet. Happening like quickly. I just have to go ahead and talk about the Gates testimony under oath about the files and that massive fiasco. And I just thought to myself, man, if Gates, didn't look stressed and somewhat, just maybe taking on a bit more than he could chew, he sure does now, man. And I feel really, really badly for him at his age, with his wealth, his prestige, his accomplishments, to have. And again, this goes back to the Playboy. I'm glad somebody brought that shit up, because we're calling out demons, folks. And we're doing it. I've said for years that we are people who literally are bivouacked in front of the spiritual gates of deception, greed, lust, disharmony, much less violence, ignorance, hate. In the astral realm, we are prepared to overtake that stuff. And if we don't accomplish it in this life, then we're certainly going to in the one to come, which is this is just a dress rehearsal for a really shitty, introduction to awareness. But I know I'm standing in front of the gates of hell, and I know that there are a few people, because I've spoken to you or corresponded, that are there. Black rain, I've heard of that. And we wonder if there is justice on this world for these people who, like I said a minute ago, in terms of technology or AI, for instance, the objective wasn't to heal the world. I'm no super economist, for instance, but I know that you just took a super idea of intelligence and built it around clean water all over the world, that it would end up developing other little side nick in water, something freezing, delicious, usable, fun ice cubes the fuck out of. Water slides, water fountains, water works, waterways, water worlds. And the super geeks who created it could be sitting in the same spot right now that the Bill Gateses and the Epsteins and the Hintons, all of whom kind of have this guilty. Isn't it interesting how they all have this not quite there with it sort of air about them, and especially Gates. And now he's their chopping block boy. They needed one because the only other fucking person who's done any kind of penance is the woman involved with all this shit, and everybody else has walked free. People who are literally walking right now free as shit. Oh, I know. You know, and they had Puffy. He was another little chop. You know, they've been throwing people under the bus as they run off, and while there's a big distraction, they're preparing for Nemesis. I gotta get ready for a brutal day in this brutal heat that's coming. Yeah, GM. You know, and we keep hearing about. I mean, everything we just take everything with a grain of salt. Let's say that, Seven, and then end the video. Fucking eat something. It's all distractions. I can even be super distracting and super distracted. But I've got a bead on a big red ball that's viewable at critical times of especially sunset, at the time when sunset really used to be, which they hope that we'll all ignore. I'll overcome, in Jesus' name, by the way, because for some reason in prayer and in meditation, that name just breaks through things that I can't, that I don't understand. And it's like having, you know, like out of the movies, you know, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And there's a comfort and a protection that comes with that name. It breaks down barriers. I don't know how. But that I not feel that weariness, that soul sapping, draining, that I can explain or think is just my bother. Because it's my passion. And I pray for everybody right now that we not forget our simple passions, as there are the distractions and the complications and the pressures of heat and bills, and do we even remember what our passions are? I pray that people feel beautiful and invigorated and energized. In Jesus' name I pray, Selah. I'm not going to say this in my prayer, but I am going to say it in closing. Along with the deception, I think that there may be physical effects, both plasmatically and spiritually, possibly dimensionally, and I think that we may be coming into a part of the cosmos where, who knows? That there may be something that isn't supposed to destroy and kill everything and everyone, but that is supposed to unite us. Just a thought. May you be blessed, folks. May you be at peace and at ease. You know, I noticed that most people who pay attention to the Nemesis don't experience real horrible calamity. I mean, I know that many of the channels, you know, we're all getting older and stuff, but just when it comes generally to people who are interested in the topic of the unseen, the magical, the mystical, the metaphysical, I just noticed that, you know, we aren't necessarily in the path of you know, what happens to so many people who seem to be in the path of being completely wiped off the face of the earth. And this is just the beginning. Let me describe that red ball and why I think it's that plasmatically, I'm pretty sure that it affects the world. They're hiding it with obviously something that I'm now just able to consider over the last week. Well, 5 days. But it's there. And it must be contributing to the heat. And as big as it is, and as stationary as it seems to be, locked in a certain position in the sky where it doesn't seem to be operating necessarily on the ecliptic plane, much less maybe even by the laws of physics. Because it's there. And I will continue to film it. So please answer that prayer for protection and strength, because I know I'm going to need it, because I know tomorrow after work I'm going to be like, and I'm going to look and be like, you ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. And that's a whole nother video. Man-child mode. I love you guys. It's the cat. Stay peaceful. Stay positive. Stay up.